My college draft is proud to announce my conference called Educate You. Educate You core areas will cover recruitment, retention, and how to build a strong alumni base of underrepresented and first-generation college students.
All right. Welcome to another edition of the Educate You podcast, brought to you by My College Draft, where education is new money. Get some. I am Lamont Thompson. I represent the CEO of this fine organization called My College Draft. Go ahead, bro.
And I am David Hartman.
You suck, man. So anyway, we're bringing you what My College Draft is about today. So many people have inquired about who we are, what we do. And so, David, I want you to start off on, man, what makes us so special? What makes My College Draft so special?
Dang, you're just going to put me in the hot seat. Huh?
Right, that's what I do.
Okay. One I would say immediately is the opportunity to give back. For us, I would say with the three of us and the experience that we have in higher education, working with minorities or students of color or whatever you want to call it, and having probably well over 30, at least 30 or more years between the three of us of experience of working in the higher education field and understanding what that takes from different levels, from community college to big four-year school to private schools. I think we've kind of been all over the board between the three of us and also being successful. I say three. I know you see two faces right now, but
Right.
our other partner in crime ain't with us right now. But I would say that's a great place for us to start right there, based off your question. But really, the opportunity to give back, man. I think for me, the thing that makes us special is not only having the experience and been there, but the ability to be able to reach students in where they are, and to also help them figure out where they want to go in life, and what their next step is.
That's awesome. And the missing member is Dr. Ricky Frierson, who has some other obligations, but definitely on the road and doing some magnificent things representing the company. You know, when people kind of pose to me, David, why we so special, man. So those things that you just mentioned, man, are phenomenal. Our experience, our ability to connect with students is off the scale. And our maneuver ability in higher ed. So we can have the conversation with the president of the school all the way to, and I don't say down to, all the way to the landscaping crew, man. That's who we are. We don't, we don't spend time on one side than the other because we feel that every aspect of a university or a company, you must communicate with all levels, because that's the company, not just the CEO, not just the founder, but everybody, all the way to the people that clean up the building, clean up the area around the building. My personal opinion, man, when you look at higher ed, I believe the landscaping crew really is probably a better recruiter sometimes than an actual recruitment office, right? And so I spend a lot of time fellowshipping with those with people in landscaping facilities, because everybody wants to have a voice, but not everybody has a voice. But I feel like a lot of the gaps, personally, David, in higher ed, in recruitment, is all the problem solving always stops and starts in one part of the campus. You agree?
100%.
And to me, it kind of bothers me because when I listen to a lot of higher ed and I listen to, all the direction, it always looks the same. And I'm like, why does it always looks the same? Because it always comes from the same group of people, right? And so when you have thousands of employees and only 10 people making decisions, you get what you get. And so when people lose jobs, it's always the ones who never had a voice at the table in the first place. I believe it should start at the ones who was at the table, who made those decisions. Talk to me, David.
Yeah. I agree. 100% agree on that. I was actually having that conversation with somebody not too long ago, um, really about like the campus dynamics, and we were talking about diversity. And I asked him straight up, do you have a Black faculty staff alliance? Do you have a Hispanic, Latino, or Latino-esque faculty staff alliance? If these are the places that you're talking about growing and building, you haven't even heard these people's voices yet. So if I know you haven't heard your faculty's voice, I know you haven't heard the student's voice yet either. So the only way to try to move forward is to have those conversations. But the real part of it is we got to pull back the veil, right? Like we can't just have these outer perimeter conversations and never get to the meat of the issue or the problem. So we got to really, really dig deep and have some real conversations, not just the stuff that's on the surface. And everybody could talk about the stuff that's on the surface, even that's kind of a little rocky, whatever. But in order to make real change, we got to have some real answers, real questions, and deal with real issues.
I like that. You guys are tuned into the Educate You podcast, brought to you by My College Draft, where education is the new money. Get some. On the podcast today, you have Lamont Thompson, myself, you have David Hardman. David, you was talking about the meat of issues when it comes to like higher ed.
Mm.
List some of the issues that you see from your perspective.
Wow. I would say the biggest thing, man, is caring, like really, really caring about the people that you're working with. And I think that's the thing. A lot of colleges lose sight of. These are people's lives that we have in our heads, right? These are people's lives that we're dealing with. They're not just a number. They're not just a dollar sign. While those things matter from an administrative standpoint, but these are people, right? So if they come in and they have a horrible experience at a college, university, trade school, I don't care what it is, you have a bad experience, they're going to go tell somebody else they have a bad experience, which is going to cause that college more harm, but it already cost that student harm. And they're putting up money for this. They're making sacrifices in their lives. Who knows? They could have kids or whatever the situation may be. We're dealing with people. And we have to be sensitive to not only the person, but the cultural background that comes with them, or whatever life obstacles that they're dealing with. I would say that is probably the number one, really caring about the people that are coming into these colleges and these institutions. And understanding that each person is different. We can't put everybody in the same cookie-cutter box and just expect everybody to perform at a certain level and everybody to get it, because it's not going to happen. Just looking at statistics for the world, only about 20% of the world is educated. That means only about 20% of the world has a degree. That means 80% of the world is not educated, right? So you're expecting the majority of people to come in here and automatically just jump on top of the boat and know where to go. That's not how it's going to work.
So again, this is the Educate You podcast, and we are giving you guys an insight on who My College Draft is, what we do, just a little bit, because we do so many different things. But we're going to give you just a little bit of what it is that we do and what makes us special. And what I love about it is, you mentioned earlier about us having so much experience, but we're so humble. And I think that's one of the things. We have a good time together, and I think that's one of the things that our chemistry is the way it is, because, man, I mean, you guys have done some phenomenal things in this industry. You've taken so many campuses and turned them upside down. You know, Ricky is highly sought after, and all the things that he's able to do academically, man. And I'm like, man, you can't beat that. So when I look at the different types of, because we do consulting, we consult in various different areas, whether it be the recruitment process, retention, the alumni, the diversity office. I mean, you name it, we do it. But David, tell me this, man, just from your particular perspective, when you look at all the things that we do, what is like your favorite thing that we attack?
I was at the same thing I said earlier. Really, really trying to help people figure out their purpose, right? Their purpose in life and where they're going to go. Um, Now, trying to help a school figure out what the next step is and all that kind of stuff. That has to be buy-in on that. But
Mhm.
really trying to help an individual person, even one person at a time, and moving forward and trying to help them figure out where they want to go, how they want to get there, and try to show them the right way, or whatever path they should go down to get there as well.
I love it. So basically, just almost to sum up what you're saying, the word is empowerment. My college draft is about empowering those who maybe not know what they equip with, but those who kind of understand they have equipment, how to take that further, how to take your God-given gifts and talents and take them to the next level. And you cannot do that without a plan. And that's why it's important to mesh up or partner in with people like My College Draft who can help you develop a plan. So David, you know, but the people don't know. Um, we have so many different things that we offer, man. So let's take the blue chips organizations that we have established on different campuses. Tell the people why blue chips is so special.
I would say really is an opportunity for students to develop, right? Um, and what to learn what I love to call soft skills. You can learn a bunch of stuff in the classroom, that kind of thing, but classroom is not going to teach you how to really how to work a room, how to network, how to build and create either events or scholarships or whatever from the ground up, and really give you that step by step that you'll use. And pretty much any job when you're becoming a problem solver. I always say the number one thing for people to be is be a problem solver. And you can come in and solve problems. Hey, I'm gonna keep you around. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
um, that's really the biggest thing. Try to find other opportunities out here to grow, and then also understanding the power of giving and giving back. Right? Not to get too biblical on y'all, but it says, give and you shall receive,
Mhm.
pressed down, shaken together, and running over. But the biggest thing is giving. So if you give of time, give of money, give of whatever, you're giving. You're also giving back into your community. You're sowing back into your community, and the people that are around you, and just helping that area that you're in grow. Period. So I would say those really are the biggest things,
Mhm.
and learning the little stuff that you're not going to learn in
Mhm.
the classroom that you're going to use when you're in those meetings.
Mhm.
And they call those meetings to order, and they're using Robert's rules to run the meeting, and you don't have a clue what that is, or how to even ask a question in the meeting. So all those little things are important when you start talking about, like I said, those soft skills and growing. So.
Right. So Blue Chips allows us to plant organizations of cultivating leadership. We and what I love, David, is the organizations automatically. We don't necessarily say, "Oh, I want the top of the line students at the school." It automatically draws out those particular students. So there's one particular campus that we have Blue Chips, and it drew out all the pre-med majors. Pretty much all our chapters have 100% graduation rate. Uh, The medical school rate is 100%. Average GPA, we're looking at least a 3.5 in the various chapters. We're looking at the top leadership awards that are given to any of the students. They go to our Blue Chips. I mean, it's to me, it's a no-brainer to have Blue Chips on every campus, everywhere, because our Blue Chips run like a business, and so they're willing to partner in with an admissions office to have extra outreach. They're willing to partner in with the marketing department at the school to create a focus group opportunity. I believe without a shadow of a doubt, Blue Chips is going to always be the most stellar, not because I'm being partial, but because I know what these students are bringing to the table, they want to be the best. And so they themselves draw out the best on those particular campuses, man. So a lot of times, to be very honest with you, it looks as if the Blue Chips chapters become like a litmus test, if you will, and for what an organization should look like. The other thing I love about Blue Chips is that, again, we talk about being humble. They too are very humble. Every event that our Blue Chips members do is tied into a bigger purpose. So they wanted to feed the hunger. They raise money on top of money to feed homeless. They raise money on top of money to help. It was one particular situation where it was a young lady who had cancer, and so they raised money for her, man. And it's nothing like we're pushing it. These are things that they want to do. So if they're gonna do a basketball tournament, they just do a basketball tournament. It has to be plugged into something bigger than them. And so it encompasses the community, like you said, it encompasses the campus. And I'm like, look, why not start a Blue Chips chapter at every campus? For more information, definitely you want to contact us and we will help you start a Blue Chips chapter on your campus to fit your campus. It's not a cookie cut approach. It fits and it's customized to your campus. You agree, David?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So phenomenal job for all our Blue Chips chapters, and we're looking to expand all the time. So another thing, David, that I love, which kind of bears your name, is our David Project. And so I love the David Project because one of the biggest issues, and then it goes back to what we do. We look for problems and we try to solve those problems. And so most of the time, statistically, you'll find that the males, and you can break that down, you can go ethnic group wise and break that down, but males are, the enrollment of males, it fluctuates, right? And so we feel with our David Project, it allows us to attack that issue. It allows us, as you mentioned earlier, the empowerment and the encouragement, and to make sure that people do not feel like they're just a number, they just exist. And especially at a college campus, when you're paying so much money for tuition, we, with the David Projects, we speak life into males to attack the retention, right? And so what I want you to do, David, is kind of like chime in on this and what it means to you. So when we take the David Project to various campus, what does that mean to you?
So I would say, as always, I always have said, life is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So the biggest thing is really speaking life into young males and letting them know, hey, you can do this, right? There are a lot of students, especially a lot of minority students, have been told, you can't do something, you're not worth anything, you won't complete this. The environment that you're in has not prepared you to be successful in society. It's only set you up to be a criminal. Say, well, 1 out of every 3 Black or African American kids born will go to jail. That's what society and this structure has set up for them. So our job in this project is really to try to speak life into them and say, hey, look, this was part of my journey. I made it through these obstacles, and you can make it through these obstacles too. I really, really say that's really the heart of it for me. So.
I like that, and as we go to various campuses, because partnering with Blue Chips or partnering with the actual campus themselves allows us to look in the eyes of these young men, and if we see fear, we attack it immediately. If we see the young men who just kind of like in between, again, we help them to cultivate a plan, and we get them in a a formalized team, which is a blue chips. So what does it mean? What does that mean, David? That means we're not just about talk. We're just not about, okay, we're gonna come to your campus and we're gonna get you all excited and we're gonna leave. No, we're plugging you in to something that's gonna be a very good support system with our blue chips. So you couple the David Project, you couple the blue chips, and it's a win-win for any campus, honestly. So again, once again, the David Project, just contact us and we'll have all the information. But you want to contact us and we want to make sure that you do what is best for the students on your campus. It's not just what you say in the brochures. It's not just what you say. And when it comes to a video, my personal opinion is like when the video is done, when all the brochures are printed out, what are you doing for these students? And this is why we offer our blue chips. This is why we offer the David Project, because first of all, we look at who we are as individuals, David, as far as this company is concerned, and then we go out there and we go help us, right? We go help, we're not looking at just ethnicity, we're looking at males who need a chance, who need an opportunity, regardless of where they come from. You got where you come from, but then when you're at the campus, that campus is supposed to be like almost like a farm, if you will, to preparing a harvest, bro. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the school itself is supposed to plant a seed, and in that seed, somebody's supposed to water that seed so that one day they can become whatever it is they want to become. And so sometimes schools, my personal opinion is they kind of they lack a little bit when you was talking about soft skills. They miss the soft skills because they go from, okay, you're a student, to now you got a degree, and in between, what happened? They can't even tell the student story unless it's, maybe a student who maybe got all the awards at the school or something. That's the only story they can tell. But if you got thousands of students at your school, then you should have thousands of stories.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's why blue chips, this is why the David Project is so important for every campus. Now, again, you listen to the Educate You, for those who are tuning in for the first time, Educate You podcast being brought to you by the My College Draft, where education is the new money. I am hosting. I'm Lamont Thompson. You got my man, David Hartman. David Hartman, what I love about David, you guys, is that David's one of those kind of guys that he can see a total picture even when there's not a total picture being presented. That's what a visionary is. And you want to have those type of people around as much as possible. When you're task-oriented, you see things in parts. But when you're a visionary, you can see the whole picture. And so it's important to understand the giftings of people who are in your midst. You agree? So now, David, I want to talk a little bit about the student loans RRB, right? Mm-hmm. And so which segues us in perfectly, because when you look at it, it looks like, oh man, it looks very negative, but it's really a very positive initiative. The student loans RB is just a marketing tool to draw people out to learn more about financial literacy, right? And so, David, we've done several different student loans RB events at our schools. Talk about the one you had at your campuses.
So basically, what we did, we brought out different vendors to talk about different opportunities for students as far as money and how to deal with their finances and all that kind of fun stuff. But in that, we also have a barbecue going. We have live performers, and it lasts a couple hours, and it's a pretty big event for the campus as well. So we have a lot of fun with it. But the biggest thing really is for people to get some financial maturity and try to be educated on how to deal with their money, how to deal with paying loans. There's a lot of little nuances in that we don't know about, and stuff that, I mean, personally, I'm still learning about, that people could take advantage of on that day, especially from a student perspective, because it's one of those things that unless they have a full ride somewhere, they're going to be dealing with that issue. And still, even if they have a full ride, if it's an athlete, if they get hurt and that scholarship is pulled, what do I do now? Or it's an academic scholarship and you fall below the criteria to continue that scholarship, what do I do from there? So answering a lot of those different type of questions.
I like that, David. So what we do, and which for someone like myself, because we talked about all the different experiences that we have in this thing called higher ed. One of the tasks that I had was financial literacy, man. And I was like, when I used to do it, it was so difficult for the school to draw people out. One of the things is they were very insincere how they was pulling them, right? And so I was asked to come in and create a program to help draw people out, help educate them on financial literacy. And so, which wasn't easy, but when you, like you were saying earlier, when you know how to communicate with people, understanding soft skills, you got to understand what causes the default. So you telling people, oh man, to do these various tasks to get our default, but sometimes they don't even know what it is. And so when you catch them early, and this is why student loans are so I think it's so awesome, is because it's very proactive. It draws the people out. We're giving them a reason to come out. Now we partner them with the school to then say, okay, now you're here. This is what we're willing to offer you. After this event, this is what we'll continue to offer you. But if you don't have that opportunity, you're gonna have those higher default rates. And so for some schools, they kind of let it kind of skip over it a little bit, like it's not important. But what they don't understand is those are lives that are ruined because they are miseducated. Those default rates are killing people's credits. The choices of majors, so for example, if you have paid in tuition over 4 years over $100,000 and you only making 30,000 when you come out, I mean, come on, David, the numbers are there. And so if you're misadvising students, you're leading them to default. So now this is deep. This is gonna be deep, David, but I'm gonna have to go out here. So for me, that's a crime. And so when you are a co-conspirator in the crime, you too are guilty. And so if you are leading somebody astray to take majors that you know don't make any money, that's criminal. That is criminal. And this is why it's important to educate people, to partner with people. If you can't do it, then call My College Draft. We'll make it happen for you. But we have to be brought to the table. You have to diversify your brain trust at most of the schools, because always, again, it's normally the same people, or they bring in outsiders who have never had the same issues as the students who are currently they're consulting for that they have. So it's important for you to bring in people like My College Draft who have been where these students are, who walked in their shoes, and then walking in your shoes currently. So what does that mean? We become the bridge between you and your student population. It's real simple. We become the translator between you and your current student population. So again, this is My College Draft, where education is new money. That speaks volume, don't it, David? The slogan itself, the importance of education, and not just the actual degree, but the education throughout the process of receiving the degree. That's education within itself. This is why you have so many people who have left school early because they feel like they've had enough education, or they was being misrepresented and they leave, right? So what does that do, David? That impacts your retention. That means that's more stress on your recruitment initiatives. Now you're fumbling, bumbling, trying to figure out what else is to do. And so now you go back to that same group of people who pretty much advise you in the wrong direction to get you where you at this point, and y'all trying to solve it again. It does not work that way. I mean, we know the definition of insanity. So I'm just like, this is why My College Draft is so special, because we've been at every aspect. We have PhDs on our roster. We have at minimum master's degrees on our roster. And so we have looked at every aspect of school. We've been in every aspect of school. Our uniqueness is us individually, David, and then you take us as a collective, we're an unbeatable team. And I hate to, again, I'm gonna have to brag a little bit, man, because I feel like we're unbeatable, bro, because we do so much.
Yeah.
We can work with so many different types of people. It doesn't matter who, we go in and we make things happen, David. We make things happen, bro. So again, David, this Educate You podcast and the importance of the Educate You brand, right? I want you to talk about the Educate You brand.
Um, it's really, I would say it's really simple, right? Um, education, really educating you as an individual, right? You know, they say knowledge is power. Um, and the more you know, to be honest, the more dangerous you are,
Yeah.
really. But the more you know as well, the more you can make better decisions for yourself, for your life, the direction that you're going in, understanding um, what risks to take, right? I feel like the decisions we make in life are a risk, regardless. Um, so how do we make a decision to take the right risk? Um, what things have been done before that have been done right, and what things have been done before that have been done wrong? What fits you as a person, and how do you educate you? How do you educate you as a person so you could, you know, step into the shoes that you're supposed to be in, and really believe in yourself and continue to build yourself really. So
I love it. I love it. And one of the things too that I love about Educate You is we have so many things that's geared to so many different types of people, but the Educate You is specifically geared for underrepresented first gens. Again, is geared for underrepresented first gens. And if you look at what that definition means, it doesn't mean one specific ethnicity. It's whoever falls in those particular categories, man.
yeah,
So Educate You, we have podcasts, we have conferences, we have so many different things to help build up, first of all. And then once you build them up, then what do you do after that? Then you have to give them a plan, you have to give them direction, and then you have to provide support when they need it. Because we are in this thing, we all are athletes, Dave. So that's what I love about us, man. We all about winning. And we have figured out together what championship means. And so we have a championship pedigree, and we're willing to share that with anyone who's interested in working with My College Draft. Again, you've been tuned in to the Educate You podcast, brought to you by My College Draft. Again, where education is the new money. Get some.
They say in the end the strong survive. These hurdles I'm facing are just life, but I know